Anything can happen. We saw that back in 2007. The Giants are basically dead. And then all of a sudden, the last month of the season, things change. They go to Buffalo. It's about as awful a game as you could play, but somehow they win that game, and they go on to win the Super Bowl in 2007. So, I mean, it's been done before. This franchise has done it before, and they can basically resurrect themselves from the dead here if they can win on Thursday night.
Yeah, and going to the playoffs still seems like a reach, and making a run in the playoffs still seems like a reach. But what doesn't is making this season interesting from a wins and losses standpoint, as opposed to what we talk about with the Jets all the time, getting the number one pick and going 0-16 and losing so you can reset your franchise yet again. With the Giants, it's a completely different deal. You want to see improvement from them. The Giant fans are not going to be upset if they start going down the draft board and up in the standings this year, because they've been so bad for the last number of years. You want to see Daniel Jones be really good, and you want to see him win some games. So this is what I want for the Giants in 2020, is to be right there, to be middle of the season, maybe even week 10 or later, and say, all right, we're still a game out of first. We're still 2 games out of first. We're still playing for something. And really, now I'd like to see how the Giants play the Philadelphia Eagles. But the Giants were right there against the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott played a lot of that game. Dak Prescott is not there any longer. And they got that game against the Cowboys in Dallas out of the way. I know you say that the home road thing is not as big of a deal, but I still think that there's something there, especially in Dallas where there are some fans. We'll see. They beat Washington, and we'll see now if they can beat Philadelphia. I mean, you can't convince me that the Giants can't be the best team in this division at the end of it. You can't do it.
Well, they barely beat Washington, but
they still did, though. Barely, whatever.
I'm just telling
you,
in order for the Giants to be taken seriously, it's one snap, one series, one quarter, one game against Philadelphia Thursday night. Now, you and I can look forward, and we could say, okay, this is what has to happen. In order, I believe, for the New York Giants to make it and win this division, and I'm sure other teams are going through the same discussion as we are right now, they have got to win 4 out of their next 5 games. So they play at the Eagles on Thursday night. Then they come back and they play on November 2nd, Monday night, against Tampa Bay at home.
Yeah, that's going to be the loss.
All right, so then they're at Washington, and then they're at home against Philadelphia, and then they're at Cincinnati. So if you want to have any chance, in my eyes, to make it or even have a chance in the last month of the season to be relevant, I believe they have to win 4 out of the next 5 against teams that are dealing with a lot of the same issues that they're dealing with. So, this is going to be, Carson Wentz twice. It's going to be, Kyle Allen. It's going to be maybe Alex Smith. You're going to see Tom Brady here. And then it's Joe Burrow. Because after that, you start seeing some pretty damn good teams in Seattle, Arizona, Cleveland, Baltimore, and then you finish with Dallas. So that last month of the season, starting, let's say, the last 5 games of the season, starting November 29th after their bye week, week 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, they got Cincinnati in there, and then the rest of them are all going to be jockeying for the playoffs, maybe even the Cowboys, for that matter, the last game of the season.
Yeah. So the Giants have to beat Philadelphia twice. They have to beat Washington again, and they have to beat the Bengals in those games in this stretch, because beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to be difficult. Beating the Seattle Seahawks is going to be difficult. But I still think that the Giants could lose 5 more games the rest of the way and still win the division.